Hey guys, Phil Baumhard here. So for today's video, I'm at the American Swedish Institute in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They've got a neat exhibit with some of the finds and artifacts from the Valsgarde ship burials. So there's a couple helmets, some swords, pieces of a shield, so let me show you what they got. As the name suggests, the exhibition features artifacts from the period preceding the Viking Age, which was from about 550 to 800 AD. This time in Scandinavia is known as the Vendel period, named after an archaeological find of a group of warriors buried in boats in the Vendel area of Sweden. The objects in this exhibit are of the same type as the Vendel graves and come from the Valsgarde burial site located just north of Uppsala. The Valsgarde site contains 15 boat burials and 62 cremations. The boat burials are of considerable note for their rarity and their significance as marking the beginning of the practice of warriors being buried with their weapons, armor, and other goods, rather than merely being cremated with them. This burial practice became more dominant during the Viking Age and has allowed for many artifacts to have survived today, giving us valuable insight into how the Vikings lived and fought. The exhibition was small, with only a handful of artifacts, but at any given time there's only a few visitors, so I was really able to take good photos, some video, and really get a chance to take a close look and study some of these amazing items, many of which is their first time leaving Sweden. My primary focus was the items in the weapon room, where there were 2 swords, a hilt, a shield, and 2 helmets. These helmets are of exceptional note because there are very few of these examples in existence, and we only have one fragment and artifact that was found in Scandinavia that was dated to the Viking Age. And these Vendel period helmets are a primary influence on how we understand Viking Age helmets to have been constructed. Since I've been studying the Viking Age since 6th grade, I've seen these helmets in books and literature online. They're used as reference material for reenactors. So for me, these helmets were very recognizable. So it was really exciting for me to see these helmets in person and get a good look at them. So I took a good deal of high-resolution photos, trying to get different details that you might not readily find online. So if you're interested in looking at those for your own research purposes, I'm going to have links in the description box. So this helmet with the chainmail face guard came from the Valsgarde ship burial number 8. And additional artifacts found in that grave were these Splintered Greaves. I had actually used these greaves as a reference for building armor for one of my Viking films. And the shield came from the Valsgarde 8 burial as well. It was very large in diameter, and I guess they're able to reconstruct the size of it by the fittings and the metal reinforcements that went along the edge. One thing interesting to note is how thin the shield is. So of course the wood has been reconstructed, it's just plywood, but from those metal fittings they could tell how thin it was, and it is a fairly thin shield. And the boss itself is also very small, just enough room to get your hand in, but it is flared out in that bowl area. So the swords were listed as coming from graves 5 and 7. They didn't specify which one came from which, but they're all very similar in construction and decoration, with the hilts being adorned with gold and red garnet stones set into the pommel and crossguard in places. This is the same type of decoration as was found on the objects in the Sutton Hoo burial in England. And the Sutton Hoo artifacts definitely are from the Vendel Age and have origins in Sweden. So both of the complete swords were in their scabbards, so there are no details of the blade itself, but I found this very interesting because I can't think of any other swords found in scabbards around the Viking Age. So these are really great to see how they were constructed, the belt fittings, and then also one of them had very elaborate engravings on the leather. And it really is remarkable just how much of this leather is preserved. And we can see the details in the setup of the hilt. So I tried to take close-up photos of some of the different engravings and artwork. I've also got photos of the other artifacts that I didn't take any video of. So if you want to study the photos I took, those are all going to be on blackheartforged.blogspot.com. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little overview video. So I really wanted to share some of this information with you guys. It was really great for me to be able to see these artifacts in person. It expanded my knowledge of this period immensely. and I want to share what I learned with you guys. So my purpose behind sharing these photos on the blog and making this video is just to help you guys out if you're out there looking for more information about the Viking Age and the Vendel period. And I think it's important to share this knowledge because with the internet, it's really easy to share misinformation and kind of get stuck in weird trends. There's a lot of influences from popular culture and reproductions. And sometimes we make Viking artifacts into things that we in the modern culture want them to be, not necessarily what they were. So as much as I can, I'm always looking for primary sources. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support. And until next time, be more Viking.